The elder brother of Batu Khan Orda Ejen, the ancestor of the Kazakh Khans, respected the younger brother and ceded the title of Supreme Khan to him. Ulus Horde Ejena was called the White Horde and was part of the Golden Horde. The White Horde, in fact, was an independent state and was nominally subordinate to the Golden Horde. The territory of the White Horde occupied the territory of modern Kazakhstan from the Irtysh River to the middle flows of the Sirdarya, including the Semerechi. After the death of Janibek Khan in 1358, turmoil began in the Golden Horde. The Khans of the White Horde sought to unite the Golden Horde under their rule. The Khan of the White Horde, Chimtai, was offered to take the throne of the Golden Horde, but he refused. In 1361, Urus Khan became the Khan of the White Horde. He wanted to unite the Golden Horde under his rule. He succeeded in 1375 to 1376 to become the Khan of the Golden Horde in its capital Sarai. A year later, he was forced to leave for his possessions in the town of Signak on the Sirdarya because of the war against Timur. Barak, Khan of the White Horde, in 1423 made a campaign on the Volga, captured the city of Sarai, and became the Khan of the Golden Horde. In the same year, he raided the Russian city Odoyev, but was unable to take it. In 1426, due to a disagreement with the Nogai Khans, Barak Khan went to the White Horde to the Sirdarya River. In 1428, Barak Khan died. In 1428, in the eastern Dreshti Kipchak, Abu Khair Khan from the Shaybanid dynasty was elected. His state was called the State of Nomadic Uzbeks. Khan Abu Khair captured the territory of the White Horde. The territory of the Abu Khair Khanate stretched from the Ural River in the west to the Irtysh in the east. From the south, from the Sirdarya River to the Tobol River in the north. He had to wage a stubborn struggle with the other Chingazid Khans who were claiming power. The Nogai Horde, or Mangit Yurt, was located west of the Ural River. In 1456, the Oirats led by Uz Temir invaded the Abu Khair Khanate. The battle against the Oirats took place in the vicinity of the city of Signak, the former capital of the White Horde. Abu Khair was defeated and was forced to conclude peace agreement with the Oirats. Khan Abu Khair died in 1468. The White Horde existed until 1430. By 1460, the Sultans Kirey and Janibek, the descendants of Khan Urus from the Jochid dynasty, due to a disagreement with Abu Khair, migrated to the south, to the lands of the western Semerechi, provided to them by the Khan of Mughals, Yesenbuga, and established the Kazakh state. Urus Khan, Khan of the White Horde, in 1368 began to issue his own coins. The White Horde, in fact, became an independent state. The Kazakh Khanate is a continuation and successor of the statehood of the White Horde, starting in 1368. The ancestors of the Kazakhs, the Huns and Turks, worshipped the great Tengri, the great sky that created the world around them. Tengrianism is the purest and most humane worldview in the history of mankind. Tengrianism is a spiritual worldview and a system of views on the world that determines the actions of a person. This is the unity of man and God, man and nature, man and society, reverence for the spirit of the ancestors. Tengrianism as a worldview emerged about 7,000 years ago. Tengrianism is the basis of all world religions: Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. Tengrianism, as an invisible veil, protects the Turks. The Turks should pray to Tengri, the spirit of their ancestors, and turn to them for help. At the end of the first millennium, some of the Turks began to convert to Islam. The Turks who conquered Muslim countries were forced to accept the religion of the conquered peoples. The Turks defended Islam, an Arab civilization, from the swords of the Crusaders in the 11th to 12th centuries in the Middle East, raised the banner of Islam all over the world. In Orthodox Islam, a person is a servant of God, and in Tengrianism, a person's soul is one with God. The Turkic Tulunid dynasties that ruled Syria and Palestine in the 9th century, as well as the Ghaznavid dynasties that ruled Iran and Afghanistan in the 11th century, began to modernize this basic contradiction between Islam and Tengrianism. A new trend in Islam was created, Sufism. In the 11th century, 70 Sufi schools were established. The founder of Sufism was Hoja Ahmed Yusavi, who lived in the 11th century in the city of Yasi, Turkestan. The Sufi doctrine believes that the soul of a person is a part of the soul of God, who has merged into a person, and the main goal of believers is union with God. In the 14th century, the conqueror Timur built the mausoleum of Hoja Ahmed Yasavi in Yas, Turkestan. Islam was adopted by the Turks in southern Kazakhstan, although the bulk of nomads remain Tengrins. Tengrianism has left a deep mark on the culture and life of modern Kazakhs. The anthropological racial type of Kazakhs has been forming for centuries. The indigenous population of Kazakhstan, Saks, Sarmatians, Usuns, descendants of the ancient nomadic Aryans, belonged to the European race. The population of the northern and eastern regions of Kazakhstan belonged to the Andronov, brachycephalitic type of the European race. The population of the western and southwestern regions of Kazakhstan belonged to the Mediterranean European type. There has been a mixture of people living in different parts of the country over the centuries. At the end of the first millennium BC and the beginning of our era, the migration of the ancient Turks from east to west began. The Turks assimilated the ancient population of Altai and began to conquer the territory of Kazakhstan, Central Asia, and Eastern Europe. There was a merger of the culture of the nomadic Aryans and the ancient Turks. The mixing of the Turks with the indigenous European population began. This can be seen from the burials of the 3rd and 4th centuries BC. In the second half of the first millennium, this process intensified. In the first millennium, the Turkization of the population of Kazakhstan and Central Asia began. In 1815, the German scientist Friedrich von Dietz stated the similarity of the ancient Turkic epic with the ancient Greek epic of Homer. This is due to the fusion of the ancient cultures of the ancient Aryans, Achaeans, who came to Greece from the Black Sea steppes of the ancestors of the ancient Greeks with the culture of the ancient Turks on the territory of Kazakhstan and Central Asia. By the 15th century, a Turanoid racial type of Kazakhs was formed. According to the famous Kazakh anthropologist Orazak Isamgulov, the anthropological type of Kazakhs consists of 20 to 25% of the indigenous European type and 70 to 75% of the Turkic Mongol type. The language of the Kazakhs belongs to the Turkic language family. The Kazakh language belongs to the Kipchak language group. It should be noted that there are Persian and Arabic words in the Kazakh language as a result of the centuries-old cultural influence of these peoples. Until the 15th century, Kazakhs, Uzbeks, Tatars, Nogais, Karakalpaks were a single people and spoke the same language. Since the 15th century, there has been a division of these peoples. The Kazakh people were formed as a result of the mixing of various peoples living on the territory of Kazakhstan. There are about 200 million people in the world who speak Turkic languages. The Turks, who conquered many countries of Asia, Europe, and Africa, played a huge role in world history, just like the ancient Persians, Greeks, and Romans. For centuries, Kazakhs led a nomadic and semi-nomadic lifestyle, were engaged in breeding horses, camels, cattle, and sheep. In the southern regions, the Kazakhs were engaged in agriculture, growing wheat, barley, and millet. Since 1598, the city of Yasi, Turkestan, has become the capital of the Kazakh Khans. In the south, there were cities and fortifications, Otrar, Sungak, Sauran, and others. Khans minted their own coins. there was money circulation, and trade was developed in the cities. The territory of the Kazakh Khanate was historically divided into 3 juzes: elder, middle, and younger juz. Senior juz is the territory of southern Kazakhstan, middle juz is central and northeastern Kazakhstan, and younger juz is southwestern and western Kazakhstan. The elder juz included the following clans: Khanle, Dulat, Alban, Suan, Oshakte, and others. The middle juz included Naimans, Argins, Kipchaks, Kireys, Konirats, and others. The younger juz included the following clans: Adai, Tama, Tabin, Bersh, and others. All these clans earlier in the 13th and 14th centuries were part of the empire of Genghis Khan. Kazakhs are the heirs of Genghis Khan's empire. By the end of the 15th century, the Kazakh Khanate had to wage a stubborn struggle for the cities in the valley of the Sir-Daryana River against the Khans of Mughal state, Mogolistan, the Timurids, and the grandson of Khan Abul Khair, Muhammad Shaybanid, the Uzbek Khan, who claimed for power over Desht-i Kipchak. The Kazakh Khanate was strengthened and expanded. New Turkic clans joined the Khanate. Khans Janibek and Kirey jointly ruled the Kazakh Khanate. In 1480, Burunduk Khan, the son of Kirey Khan, became the supreme Khan. Burunduk Khan had to fight the Uzbek and Mughal Khans for the towns of the valley of Sir-Darya River. Sultan Kasim, the son of Janibek, who became Khan in 1511, stood out for his abilities in the surrounding of Sultan Kasim. Kasim Khan had to fight the Shaybanids, the Uzbek Khanate, who seized the interfluve of the Amu Darya and the Sir Darya and the city of Samarkand from the Timurids. In 1510, Qasim Khan defeated the Shaybanid Mohammed Khan, taking control of the main cities in Turkestan. Qasim Khan significantly expanded and strengthened the Kazakh Khanate, which stretched from Semeriche and Sir Darya to Lake Balkhash in the east and to the Ural River in the northwest. Khan Qasim was a great Khan. Under him, the Kazakh Khanate reached the number of 1 million people. The Kazakh Khanate was a strong state. In 1523, Khan Qasim died. After the death of Qasim Khan, Haknazar, the son of Qasim, became Khan. He had to fight against the Nogai Horde in the northwest and expand the Khanate to the left bank of the Ural River and annex these lands to the Kazakh Khanate. In the 50s to 60s of the 16th century, Haknazar, together with the Kyrgyz, had to fight with varying success against the Mughal Khans and Oirats. Having entered into an alliance with the Uzbek Khan, Shaybanid Abdullah, Haknazar began a struggle against the ruler of Tashkent, Baba Sultan, for the Turkestan cities, which was unsuccessful. In 1580, Khan Haknazar died in an internecine struggle. In 1582, Taukel became the Khan, who in alliance with the Uzbek Khan defeated Baba Sultan, the Tashkent ruler, at the Battle of Yasi in Turkestan. In 1583, Khan Taukel started a war against the Uzbek Khan Abdullah, capturing some Turkestan cities. In the winter of 1598, Khan Taukel defeated the troops of Abdullah Khan. In the summer of 1598, he began the conquest of Mavere Nahar, between the Amu Darya and Sir Darya rivers. After capturing Samarkand, Taukel left his brother Sultan Yesim with a 20,000-strong army, and he himself, with a 70,000-strong army, began the siege of Bukhara. The siege ended in failure. Taukel Khan was wounded. He retreated to Tashkent, where he soon died. Khan Taukel was a great Khan, the last conqueror of the Kazakh Khanate. In 1598, an agreement was concluded with the Shaybanids, as a result of which Tashkent, Turkestan, and other cities became part of the Kazakh Khanate. In the north, the Kazakh Khanate bordered on the Siberian Khanate, which included the territory of northern Kazakhstan. In 1563, power in the Siberian Khanate passed to Kuchum Khan, with a headquarters in the city of Kashlik. In 1582, the Russian Cossack chieftain Ermak began the conquest of the Siberian Khanate and approached Kashlik. In 1584, Yermak was ambushed and killed. The Siberian Khanate, after the defeat inflicted by Yermak, could not be revived and was later annexed to the Russian state. Yesim Khan became Khan in 1598. In the same year, Tashkent became part of the Kazakh Khanate. In 1620, Yesim Khan made a campaign in Jungaria, defeating the Oirats. In 1627, Yesim Khan repeated the campaign to Jungaria, inflicting a heavy defeat on them. In 1612, Tursun Muhammad Khan came to power in Tashkent. He minted his own coins, had an army of up to 100,000 soldiers. Although Yesim Khan was the supreme Khan in Turkestan, a dual power was established in the Kazakh Khanate. A civil war broke out between Yesim Khan and Tursun Khan of Tashkent. In 1627, 2 battles took place between them. In the last one, Tursun Khan died. In 1628, Yesim Khan died. Jungir, the son of Yemis Khan, became the Khan. In 1630, under the leadership of Khan Hor Uluk, the Torgauts separated from the Oirats of Jungaria and began to migrate to the Volga River. The Torguts defeated the Norgai Horde, as a result of which a part of the population of the Norgai Horde moved across the Volga River. Some of the Norgai remained in the Kazakh Khanate. This division of the Norgai people became a tragedy for the Kazakhs and Nogais. They were a single people, and the Kazakh Khanate had a dangerous enemy, the Volga Kalmyks. In 1635, in the east of the Kazakh Khanate, a new state appeared, the Jungar Khanate, headed by Batur Hun Taiji. The Jungars in 1635 and 1638 made successful campaigns against the Kazakh Khanate. In 1643, Hun Taiji Batur marched with a 50,000-strong army against the Kazakhs. The Kazakh Khan Jangir met the enemy in the Alatau mountain gorge on the Orbulak River with 600 soldiers armed with wick guns. The Jungars were ambushed under the fire of the guns of the soldiers of Khan Jangir. Soon, the 20,000-strong army of Jalantos Bagatura from Samarkand approached Jangir to help. The Jungar army was completely defeated and retreated. In 1652, the Jungars invaded the Kazakh Khanate. The Kazakhs were defeated, and Jangir Khan died in battle. The Jungars captured a significant part of the Semerechi. Batir became the Kazakh Khan. In 1654, a campaign of the Kazakhs took place in Jungaria. The following year, the Kazakhs returned the lands of Semerechi. In 1680, the son of Jangir Tauke became the Kazakh Khan. Tauke Khan is known for his legal reform. The adopted code of laws, Zhetijarga, 7 truths, to centralize the state and strengthen the Khan's power. Zhetijarga contains rules governing criminal, civil, and administrative law, close to the Liasi of Genghis Khan. In 1681, Hun Taiji Galdan launched an invasion of South Kazakhstan. A number of cities were taken, including Tashkent, Chimkent, and others. In 1688, Khan Tauke invaded the Jungar Khanate and drove the Jungars out of the 7 rivers. In 1697, the Hun Taiji Tsvedan Rabden became the ruler of the Jungars. There was an aggravation of the Kazakh-Jungar relations. Mutual raids of Kazakhs and Jungars continued. In 1708, Hun Taiji Tsvedan Rabdan made a new campaign in the Kazakh Khanate, inflicting a serious defeat on the Kazakhs. In 1710, a Kurultai of 3 Kazakh Juz took place in the Karakum, at which a decision was made to unite the Kazakhs and repel the Jungars. Batir Bukenbay from the Tabin clan was chosen as the leader of the militia. The Kazakh Khanate was in a difficult situation. In 1712, Batir Bukenbay led the Kazakh army on a campaign against Jungaria. The campaign was crowned with success. In 1714, the Kazakhs repeated their raid on the Jungar lands. Khan Tauke died in 1715. Kayip was elected Khan. In 1717, Kazakh Khans Kayip and Abulkhayir, at the head of a 30,000-strong army, moved against the Jungars, but were defeated on the Ayaguz River. In 1718, Khan Kayip was killed. In 1720, Khan Abulkhayir made a campaign in Jungaria and captured 3,000 Oirats. Jungaria at that time was at war with the Qing Empire. In 1722, the Chinese Emperor Gangji died. Jungaria made peace with China. Hun Taiji Tsevan Rabdan began to prepare for a new war against the Kazakhs. In the spring of 1723, the Jungar army invaded the Kazakh steppes. This period is known in Kazakh history as Aktaban Shuburundi, Years of the Great Disaster. The attack of the Jungars was unexpected, and Jungars broke the resistance of the Kazakhs. Kazakhs were not ready for war. The Jungars captured Sayram, Turkestan, and Tashkent. The elder Juz was forced to accept the power of the Jungars. The Kazakhs of the middle and younger Juz were forced to flee to Central Asia towards Bukhara and Samarkand. It was a great disaster. Abulkhayir, Khan of the younger Juz, led the active resistance to the Jungars. Abulkhayir remained in the history of Kazakhstan as a great Khan. In September 1723, a combined 20,000-strong army of Kazakhs and Karakalpaks defeated the Kalmyk Ulus on the Ural River, the allies of the Jungars. The Kazakhs pushed the Kalmyks back across the Ural River and expanded their territory. In 1726, Khan Abulkhayir defeated the Jungars on the banks of the Bulanti and Beyleuta rivers. In 1727, the Jungarian Huntaiji Tsevan Rabdan died. In 1729, in the Aniraiki area not far from Lake Balkhash, the Kazakhs defeated the Jungars. The Kazakh militia won a decisive victory. There was a split between the Kazakh Khans for the right to supreme power. Abulmambyet was elected as the senior Khan. Khans of the middle and younger Juz, Semeke, and Abulkhayir migrated to their domains. The elder Juz remained under the rule of the Jungars. The case of the liberation of the Kazakhs was irreparably damaged. The Kazakh Khanate was fragmented. The diplomatic relations of the Kazakh Khans with the Russian state were established as early as the 16th century. Diplomatic correspondence and the exchange of embassies were conducted. The political situation in the Kazakh steppe remained difficult. In the southeast, the threat of the Jungarian invasion remained. In the south, relations with Khiva and Bukhara were difficult. In the northwest, there were constant raids of the Volga Kalmyks, Bashkirs, and Yaik Cossacks on the Kazakh lands. The Kazakhs also made retaliatory raids on them. In the north, the power of the Russian Empire expanded and increased. Khan Abulkhayir made a decision to accept Russian citizenship, which had the following interests. First, to secure the younger Juz from the constant raids of Kalmyks, Bashkirs, and Yaik Cossacks. Secondly, with the support of Russia to strengthen its power. But most importantly, this is an economic reason. Duty-free trade with Russia, obtaining necessary goods, textiles, flour, and other goods in exchange for livestock, horses, sheep, wool, leather, and other nomadic products. The exchange of prisoners between the Russian and Kazakh sides. Russian prisoners numbered up to 2,500 people. On February 19th, 1731, Empress Anna Ivanovna signed a decree on the voluntary acceptance of the Kazakhs of the younger Juz into Russian citizenship. Khan Abulkhayir faced resistance from some Kazakh elders who opposed citizenship, but the respected Batirs Bukenbay, Eset, and others supported Abulkhayir. The elders of the younger Juz took the oath of Russian citizenship. In the 40s of the 18th century, a part of the Middle Juz adopted Russian citizenship. In the same period, the Jungars invaded the Kazakh Khanate 4 times, reaching the city of Orenburg. The future Khan of the Middle Juz, Sultan Ablai, was captured by the Jungars. In 1756, Jungaria was defeated by the Qing Empire. China took over the territory of modern Xinjiang. This was the tragedy of the Jungarian people. Some of the Jungars were killed by Chinese troops, about 300,000 people. Some of the Jungars went to Altai and Mongolia. Some remained in Kazakhstan and later assimilated among the Kazakhs. In 1771, Abu Mambiet Khan died. Ablai was elected Khan of the Middle Rus, whose power extended to a part of the senior and younger Ruses. Ablai Khan remained in Kazakh history as a great politician who pursued a flexible policy between the two empires, Qing and Russian. In 1822, the Russian Empire liquidated the institution of the Khanat in Middle Jews. In 1847, a significant part of the Kazakhs of the senior Jews passed into Russian citizenship. In 1773, a popular uprising broke out under the leadership of Yemelyan Pugachev in Russia. He turned to the Kazakhs of the younger and Middle Jews for support. The Kazakhs of the younger Jews, dissatisfied with the construction of fortresses in the Kazakh steppe, limiting the territory of pastures for grazing cattle between the Volga and the Urals, took an active part on the side of Yemelyan Pugachev. Up to 10,000 people participated from the younger Jews, together with the rebellious Yaik Cossacks, Bashkirs, Kalmyks, and Tatars. 4,000 Kazakhs from the Middle Jews in the fall of 1774 besieged Russian fortresses, outposts, and attacked Siberian line fortifications. In 1775, the uprising was suppressed by the Tsarist troops. In January 1775, Yemelyan Pugachev was executed. In the spring of 1783, in the younger Jews, an uprising of the people began against the arbitrariness of the Khan's power and the policy of the Tsarist government to limit the use of pastures for grazing. At the head of the uprising was an active participant in the Pugachev uprising, the Batyr, the people's hero, Serim Datov. In 1785, the rebels numbered up to 6,000 people. At the request of the Khan of the younger Jews, Nurali, punitive detachments of the Cossacks were sent against the rebels. In 1792, the uprising engulfed the entire younger Jews. The uprising took the form of guerrilla warfare. The rebels attacked the Russian border fortifications and the auls of Kazakhs who supported the Khan's power. In 1797, the uprising was suppressed. In 1801, in the interfluve of the Volga and the Urals, the Bukhiv Khaganat was created, named after its first Khan, Bukhay. The Khanat was under the control of the Orenburg administration. In 1836, the uprising of the Kazakhs began under the leadership of Isatai Taimanov and the poet Makhambet Utemisov. The people opposed the arbitrariness and the corruption of the Khan's power. The uprising was raised by the poorest groups of the population, the Sharua. The rebels burned down the houses of the Kazakh nobility and drove away cattle. Khan Jahangir returned to Orenburg administration for military assistance in suppressing the uprising. The uprising was brutally suppressed by the Punishers in 1838. The uprising was of a class character. The people's hero, Istai Taimanov, died. Makhambet Utemisov continued to fight against the Khan's power. It was a social protest of the poorest groups of the Kazakh Sharua. Khan Jahangir died in 1845. The Khan's power was eliminated. Kinesari Kasimov, a descendant of the Khan of the Middle Jews Ablai, wanted to restore the Khan's power in the Middle Jews and started a struggle in 1837 against the Russian Empire. Although most of the Kazakhs accepted Russian citizenship, Kinesari launched attacks on Russian fortifications. In 1841, he was proclaimed as a Khan at the Kurultai. Kinesari's fighting tactics consisted of surprise attacks and a quick retreat, which brought success. Tsarist detachments could not overtake Kinesari's warriors in the steppe. In 1845, the Tsarist government twice sent an embassy to Kenesari Khan in order to attract Kenesari to the service with the provisions of certain territories. Kenesari refused to accept the embassy and continued to fight. In the fall of 1845, punitive troops were sent against Kenesari, and he was forced to migrate south. At the same time, Kenesari began a war against the Kazakh Khanate and captured the fortresses on the Sirdarya, Julek, Yenikurgan, Tursunbay. In 1846, driven out by the Tsarist troops, Kenesari migrated to the Elder Rus. In 1847, Kenesari died in one of the battles against the Kyrgyz, allies of the Kazakh Khanate. Kenesari Kasimov remained in the memory of the Kazakh people as the last Khan, an unyielding Batyr, a hero for the liberation of the Kazakh land. This is how the history of the last Chingizid Khanate of the Golden Horde ended. In 1847, most of the Kazakhs of the Elder Rus passed into Russian citizenship. In 1863 to 1864, Russian troops captured Auliya Ata, Chimkent, Turkestan, and other cities under the rule of the Kazakh Khanate. The accession of the Elder Rus to Russia was over.